All right, let's break down the Keystone, Odessa area. Is it Keystone or is it Odessa? This very loved area right outside of the Tampa metro area. We're gonna show kind of the things you need to know about it, why you might love it, why you might not love it, and why this neighborhood is about to have the best incentives around. Here we go. I'm Sam, and this is the Living in Tampa channel, and we make these videos for you about what it's like to live and move to the Tampa area. This kind of video is actually my favorite. Let's dig into the map and let's explain an area that's a little bit confusing. I'm kind of the map nerd, and I love making these videos for you guys. If you've ever looked at the map of Tampa very much, or you've seen it in these videos, you see this kind of block on the northwest side of Tampa, in between Hillsborough County and Pinellas County. It's called Keystone. Keystone's not a real town, though. Why is it called Keystone? I don't quite know why it's called Keystone. There's kind of some old township stuff around here. But then you look at the houses and they have Odessa addresses. That's a little confusing because there's also an Odessa in Pasco County, but Lutz is in Hillsborough County and Pasco County, so that's okay. But there's not actually a town of Odessa either. They're unincorporated parts of the county. This area of Keystone is super loved. It's one of those areas that you drive through and you see like cool houses on the lakes and you can't really tell, and then you see some horses, and then it's a beautiful, beautiful area. But let's first break down the area with the Tampa Explained Criteria. I like this criteria. It creates some consistency in how I talk about things. It's kind of why I made it, so that I would be consistent, so that it makes more sense to you. Okay, so the Tampa Explained Criteria is proximity, style, size, and cost. Let's start with proximity. Where is this place on the map? You can see right there on the northwest side of Hillsborough County. It takes up this whole northwest corner of the county. To the west of it is Pinellas County. To the southeast of it is West Chase. To the east of it is Citrus Park and Carrollwood. These borders are quirky. Now, some things come into this border, but they're technically part of West Chase, like the Water Chase neighborhood. But Racetrack Road kind of defines that southeast border of the Keystone area. Let's look real quick on just distances in general. So we'll go from here, the Victoria Lakes neighborhood, which is this new Taylor Morrison neighborhood. How far is it from here to Publix? How far is it from here to Whole Foods? How far is it from here to Costco? How far is it from here to the airport and the beach? So you see all those distances. Now we put the numbers up here. You realize nothing's really that far, but nothing's really that close. So like this neighborhood, for example, it isn't like the other neighborhoods that you see built in these master plan communities where grocery stores are right out at the front of the neighborhood and there's like a little restaurant and a little Vietnamese sandwich shop. Like, this is not like that. That's kind of a quirk of the area. Everything's a bit more spread out. All right, when it comes to the style of the area, this is pretty rural. A lot of houses built around lakes, a lot of little neighborhoods built around lakes. Not a lot of big neighborhoods, which is kind of interesting. Victoria Lakes here is just a little over 100 homes. And then just across the street is the Eagles, but this is the north side of the Eagles. The Eagles is a really long neighborhood. You go out the south side of it, you're pretty much in West Chase. You go out the north side of it, and you're on Patterson Road, and you're kind of out here. The Eagles is like a nice gated community, golf course, has 55 plus area, has normal housing, has all kinds of options in there, super cool neighborhood. But then everything else is a little scattered throughout. Now there are a lot of one-off gated neighborhoods where there's 40 to 80 homes, but they're kind of spread out. And that is a really charming part about the area, and that is kind of the style that the whole area encompasses, is this like kind of old, rural, charming Florida, but still kind of really close to everything that Tampa has to offer. Okay, size real quick. Size, there's not a lot of people that live in this area. 20, 30,000. A lot of the estimates are somewhere around there, but the geographic size of the area is pretty big. Let's go back to the map. You can see it takes up this entire corner of the county. This area is pretty big, and the roads kind of wind throughout. There's nothing grid pattern to it, and it feels, it takes a while to get across the area. When it comes to the cost for this Keystone area, let's say within the past 12 months, we've sold houses that were $500,000, and we've sold houses that were $1.5 million. So you have a pretty big range of prices and styles, and you could live on a lake and you have a custom built home, and it's going to be quite a bit more expensive. So there's a lot of different ranges in there and a lot to choose from. When it comes to how the prices in the Keystone area compare to all the other areas, they skew a bit higher. Now, some of that is because it is a very desirable area with less homes. So your supply just gets dampened again and again, so that makes demand go a bit higher. Let's talk about why people love the area. We talked about it a little bit previously, but it is a really just charming area. It's one of those areas you drive through and you think, gosh, I wish I could live in this area. It's probably crazy expensive. I remember when my wife and I first got married and we would visit down here to her family quite a bit. We'd drive through this area and I'm like trying to figure it out on the map. I'm trying to like look on Zillow and see what the houses are. Like, do people live here? Like it's like all these big oak trees and all these big cypress trees around all these lakes. It's like really kind of charming and unique. I think the main reason people really love this area is because you get a very charming rural feel, but you're still very close to things. Like where I live in Newport Richey, I'm a lot closer to the basic amenities like Walmart and Lowe's, but I'm a lot further from the airport and from Whole Foods and from a mall and all those kind of things. So why might someone not like this area? Now, personally, I don't think there's a whole lot of reasons, but it is really that distance to things that people sometimes dislike. Now, that is very understandable. We showed this neighborhood specifically to a few clients recently, and they just felt like it was a little far. They felt like it was a little far from their basic things that they need. And when you look on the map, it seems like it's gonna be close, but then you're here and you're like, no, it's actually not that close. You have to kind of go out of your way to go somewhere. Another reason that one client didn't go for this neighborhood and other clients haven't gone for this area is because of the prices. It is a bit higher than other comparable areas. If you go a bit further out, by going to those areas, you're in an area with more amenities around it, but you're not as close to the Tampa amenities. So it's kind of this like push and pull of all those factors at once. Okay, now let's talk about this neighborhood, Victoria Lakes. This is a Taylor Morrison exclusive neighborhood right now. There are some bigger luxury lots that Arthur Ruttenberg is going to build on. Those will be custom homes that will be, designed with their team. Super cool the way that these lots kind of go back into this really cool area in the neighborhood. This neighborhood doesn't have amenities. It's not going to have a pool. I mean, it has like this open space. It has a little dog park, has a fire pit, but it's not going to have like a big pool or a gym or a clubhouse or things like that. And for quite a while, I imagine this neighborhood wouldn't have any incentives because there's not new construction around here unless you do like one-off custom homes, and that's super expensive for most people. But this neighborhood, priced around like $850 to $1.2 million, big houses with no amenities, has just become a little bit more than people want to pay. I think they're going to offer incentives to make that a little more affordable, and the monthly payment for people, offering incentives like lower interest rates, additional cash to cover closing costs, things like that. But another reason they're going to have to offer more incentives is because everything's taking longer. We actually heard recently this neighborhood has been struggling to get water for the whole neighborhood. Now they have some water sources, but they don't have enough for the whole neighborhood yet. And they've just had to like drag out some timelines, and people don't love that. When you tell them your house is going to be ready at this day, and then you're like, actually it's going to be 6 months later, that is a very different experience for a client. And a lot of our clients that are moving across the country, they can't deal with that kind of flux. So I think some incentives are going to increase quite a bit in this neighborhood to make sure they can get some more of these houses under contract. For me, if I wanted to buy a new construction house and this was within my budget, this would be the place for me, because I don't care about the neighborhood amenities. I like that it has nice sidewalks, that it's kind of rural. I like that the neighborhood is smaller and you would meet people pretty easily, and there wouldn't be as much traffic going through with my kids kind of riding on the sidewalks and in the street, and all that stuff would be better for us. We also just really like the area, the feel of the area, all those kind of things. So if I was looking for new construction and my budget was within this range, it's $800 to $1.2 million, this would be the top of my list. You get out further and you're just kind of further away from everything, and you don't have the charm that this Keystone area has. So that is why I will keep coming back to this neighborhood to shoot videos and kind of tracking the progress of it. I think it's going to be a great option for some people because I know I would really like it. If you haven't downloaded our relocation guide yet, don't forget to grab that in the description. And if you have any real estate specific questions or needs, we would love to hear from you. Once you reach out, our next step is to hop on a Zoom call and just process your situation and see how we can best help. So if you made it to the end of the video, I would love to get a call, text, or email from you and just connect with you and process your situation. But as always, thanks for coming by.